This is the Be More podcast. I am your host, Jack Williams, and this is a show all about health, nutrition, mindset, and performing at our very best. And this is going to be your catalyst to being more. Good morning, sports fans. Welcome to episode 38 of the Be More podcast. Don't know why I keep introducing it as sports fans. You could be a sports fan, you could not be. It doesn't matter. This is about being more. And I am bringing to you a fire of an episode today. So I just come into the office. It's Friday morning. It's just gone 5:15. And I've had my little reading session this morning. And I've come in and I thought, right, I've got it planned to do a podcast over the next hour. What am I going to talk about? And I've got my little vision board next to me. It's not really a vision board. It's more of my wall of like motivational photos that I put up about a month ago, maybe in the last few weeks. And I've seen one of them and it's made me think, I'm going to do it about that. And it's the man who asks a question is a fool for a minute, and the man who does not ask is a fool for life, by Confucius. And he's the same guy who says, the man who says he can and the man who says he can't is usually right. So yeah, obviously a clever guy. And I used to get told I was an idiot or I was stupid. And people around me used to make me feel stupid because I used to ask so many questions. And I used to be like, I'm stupid. It used to be like almost a running joke. Because I used to be I wanted to learn about people. I wanted to ask questions. I wanted to know more. I wanted to learn. But asking questions, the people who I was surrounding myself with made me feel like that was a stupid thing to do. And that was just not the norm. So this is where I'm going to talk today about how your circle and the people you choose to spend your time with are a direct. There's a massive correlation between your results in your life, your happiness, how you feel every single day, and the people you spend your time with. And I used to literally surround myself with people who would make me feel stupid. They'd make me feel inadequate. They'd make me feel like a failure. They'd make me feel like I was different in a bad way. They'd make me feel like asking questions was a bad thing. Like I remember when I was travelling, I used to get it was almost embarrassing for my ex-girlfriend because I'd asked people so many questions. Because I would just be fascinated. I'd be like, wow. After I met someone, I'd just be like, I would go on for hours about how cool they were, or their story, or something that they said that I was just like, that's fascinating. And it just literally would just like completely fire me up for days. Hence why when I started this podcast, it's all come together now. I'm thinking, this is what I enjoy to do. I love learning about people. I love speaking to people, hearing different stories and just hearing how they live their life and what makes them tick and what makes them motivated and why they're like. I was asking, where are you planning on going? Or what are you doing today? Or even little things like that, just to get ideas for when we were travelling, what to do that day, for example. But even more so, like, where are you from? What's it like living there? Little things like that. And I'm just like, I just wanted to learn. I wanted to understand the culture. I wanted to understand everything. I wanted to get to know that person better. And I just don't know why. I just got a desire to do that, like almost a burning desire to get to know more people, make more friends. And that was the greatest thing I took from travelling, was it's the people that I met. But the the person I went with, she used to make me feel stupid for asking people these questions. She was like, it's so embarrassing, you're asking all these questions. And I'd be like, I'm embarrassing. And I didn't obviously think, I wasn't very self-developed then, so I didn't think, no. I'm going to ask these questions because I want to know the answer. I used to think, she's right, I'm stupid. And I used to feel like just I wasn't a worthy boyfriend, or I was just an idiot. And then I would go up to people and not ask questions on the basis that I'd be sounding like an idiot if I did. Or I'd go the opposite way and I'd ask too many questions. I just didn't know what to do. And it wasn't because I was doing anything wrong. It was just the fact of I was surrounding myself with the wrong people. And yes, I have got a bit of a side to me that maybe a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little bit stupid. But that's what makes me me. And now I embrace that, and the people around me encourage me to embrace that. And that's what's important. And the fact that I want to learn more, I want to know more. I'm now surrounding myself with people that are the same. They want to learn more. They want to know more. So therefore, it's bringing out a strength of mine, I think, because it's a strength wanting to know people better. It's a strength wanting to learn more. But I only really see that because I'm now more self-developed. I'm now with people who also see that. And it's just a change of circle that's resulting in a different mindset for me. And your mindset is everything. Like how you feel, like it's this how you operate. Every single day you wake up and you're like, how you feel that day is a reflection on everything that's going through your life at the moment. The people you're surrounding yourself with, the food you're putting in your body, your exercise, whatever it might be, right? It all accumulates into when you wake up in the morning, the mood you're going to be in is normally a result of all these things put together. All these things running through our body. Right, today I'm on it, buzzing. Or, it's Monday. Or it's coming up to Friday. This is Friday today. It's going to be a weekend of rubbish food. I'm going to ruin my diet for the week. Whatever it is, right? Are you in a good headspace or are you in a bad one? And are you surrounding yourself with people who are encouraging a good one or encouraging a bad one? Because I'm not going to ever say that or blame the people I'm surrounding myself with. Like, I don't want you to think that's what I'm doing at all. I take complete ownership of all of my actions, all of the people I surrounded myself with, all the things I've done until now in my life. Like I take complete ownership. It wasn't my ex-girlfriend's fault, nor was it my parents' fault, because my brother's the clever one. My brother's the clever one in the family. He got through school with loads of GCSEs, was like head boy, and then there was me following through 2 years later, like rubbish GCSEs. I wasn't even a prefect, let alone a head boy, and I just was living almost in my brother's shadows the whole time. And anyway, a few years later, Jack starts a podcast called the Be More Podcast. His brother comes up to me and goes, "What are you doing that for?" And I'm just like, the whole time, in my whole life, I've been like, my brother's obviously really clever, living in his shadow. And then he comes up to me and goes, "What have you got to be more about?" And I was just like, it was like a dinner for my mum's birthday, I think, last year when I just started the podcast. And I was just like, I don't know what to say to that. And at the time, it did really upset me. And I'm just like, because I've forever been in his shadow because he's the clever one. And I'm not the clever one. Yet it's not until, this is why I'm like a little bookworm now. I go through all these books because I want to learn more. I want to be more self-developed. I want to be able to be bulletproof. From when someone says something, like I think as what I found with myself, I think over the last 18 months has happened a lot. I've still got quite baby skin now, but as like if someone would say something, I'd have baby skin, a little prick, and it would hurt a lot. The one little comment, one little saying, and I'd be really insecure about it, or it would affect me, and it would affect my mood. It would then affect my day. It could affect my week. And too many people are like this, right? I was the same, really baby skinned, and then all of a sudden, as I got more self-developed, as I started reading more, as I become a more disciplined person, as I stuck to my word more, as I got more confident from doing those things, I started to develop what I like to call rhino skin. And I don't really look like a rhino, thank God. I'm not the prettiest of creatures. But I feel like I've developed more rhino skin. Not all over my body, not yet, but I'm working on it, right? I'm doing more reading every day. I'm doing more self-development. I'm trying to develop as a person to bring more value to people and to get more rhino skin. So when people say things, because they do continuously still say things, people are always giving me shit or saying this or saying that. Life is that is life. People are going to have objections to what you're doing. And if you're not getting that, it's because you aren't doing enough anyway, because people are then not having a reason to judge, you know? And they're the people I don't want to be around, people that judge. I'm not going to judge anyone, whether you're doing this or that. Whatever you're doing, that's you. Go stay in your lane, go and do what you want to do. But people are always going to judge, right? It's just the way it is. And I used to judge because I wasn't in a good headspace myself. But you'll find the people that are in a good headspace never judge others, regardless of what they're doing. It's what they want to do. Let them go and do it, right? So that I've just seen this now. So I'm like, people that are judging, they're just not happy with their own situation. And I'm going to bring a really good point up in a minute as well about what I found with my clients. So where was I? Because this is going to annoy me because that was a really good point. Yeah, rhino skin. So now, if people say something, so you see on Big David Attenborough's program, what was it? Well, that Earth program, Planet Earth. Unbelievable, by the way, one of my favourite programs. There's bloody birds with big old beaks on the back of a rhino, pecking away. Rhino's like, you crack on, mate. I can't even feel that. And that's what it's like when you're at a point where you're bulletproof from what people have to say. People will go all day at you, and this is where like the most successful people and the most fulfilled people have that in them, because they haven't got there because everyone's nice to them. They've got there because their reactions to what people say when they're not nice to them is what helps them move forward and move forward and move forward, because nothing anyone can say or nothing anyone can do is going to stop them in their this resolute, non-stop pursuit of constantly being more and doing more and having more, and just no matter what happens, they're on it. They're moving forward, and even if they move backwards, that's a learning curve. They're like happy. I love losing. Let's go again. I'll learn from that. Let's go again. It won't happen again. Let's go again. Whereas other people, they make a mistake, or they'll jump on the scales on a Monday. Oh, I didn't lose weight. I gained a pound. They're done. They've got baby skin. They haven't got rhino skin. They're not resolute. They're not in alignment with their why. Why are you doing this? Because if they were, 1 pound gain, they'd be like, I'm gonna fucking smash that off. I've got this. That happened last weekend. I'll take ownership for that. My bad. This week we go again. And that's what you need to have. And you build that up from thinking, right, I'm not going to have this baby skin approach to life where if anyone says something that derails me, I'm done. Because that's just the recipe for absolute disaster in anything you're doing. Anything. Like, trust me, you don't want to be that kind of person. And I was for such a long time, and it's just not helpful. Not helpful. Like, trust me, I used to be so bad with this, so bad. Like, for example, when I was young, my dad used to come watch me play football every Saturday and Sunday, every game without fail. He stopped playing football when he was like 30 odd, 31, 32. I think he was rubbish anyway, to be fair. No, he was actually quite good, but he stopped playing just to watch me. So there's me thinking, yeah, everyone thinks my brother's like it's all in his favour. But really, my dad and parents put a lot of time into me. They probably need to put more time into me because I'm not as bright as him, as my brother. But he used to come to every game, Saturday and Sunday, and he used to know that my first involvement in that game would be a reflection on my whole performance. So if I, for example, if it was a good first touch, or if I smashed someone, went for a tackle, or if I hit a good pass, the first 5 minutes of that game, or for example, if a player come up to me and give me a nudge and he was like, I'm going to have you today, and I'd have that, I'd be like, oh my God, he didn't have a very good breakfast. And the first 5 minutes would always be the dictator of the kind of game I was going to have. And my reaction to them things would then be how I was going to perform. And he just knew it. And so, for example, if I had a bad first touch in the first 5 minutes, or someone smashed me, my head would just go, and it would then have a result on the whole game, because I had baby skin. And I think when you're young, you can kind of get away with it. But as I've got through life, I've learned to get rhino skin. And I'm still moisturising, don't worry. I'm not trying to encourage you all to just get really bad skin and get rhino skin. But what I'm trying to say is, you are always going to come across critics, and always going to come across people who are like, why are you doing that? And honestly, I was asked a question on Monday at a speaking event that I did. And bearing in mind, I was 6 years ago on a checkout at Homebase, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but to go from being on a checkout at Homebase to speaking in an event full of people earning 3-4 times my yearly income, they're all older than me, and I'm there talking to them about motivation and mindset. It just shows you I've had to take a lot of pricks to get to that point, right, where I can be confident enough to go and do that, because that's quite a daunting thing to do. And I didn't even think about it until after. I was like, they all earn loads more money than me. Not that money's any kind of reflection of success, but I'm like, that's a successful room of people, and they're all in there taking notes on things that I'm saying. It's mental. But one of them said to me, what's your biggest struggle been as a personal trainer with clients in the last 5 years? And I said the people that my clients surround themselves with. And they were like, that was not what I was expecting to hear, but it makes so much sense. So in my weekly check-in forms for my clients, one of the questions is your support network. How are they giving you support, or are they making this difficult for you? And 9 times out of 10, it's like, I'm around feeders, or there's the weekend it all messed up because my other half wanted to go for meal and drinks, and I just wanted to eat healthy, but they made me feel rubbish for doing that, or whatever it might be. And again, take ownership for that shit. Don't let that other person ruin that for you. But at the same time, I get it. And yeah, 100%. Or some of my clients will get really good results, and the other half will get jealous, and they'll be like, oh no, I'm not having that. So they'll try and derail that person's success. And I'm just like, this is mental. And I used to think as I was growing up, like, surely, if someone's doing well, other people will encourage them and say, well done, good for you. And it just doesn't happen. People get jealous. People are like, oh, what are you doing that for? And it's mental, it's mind-blowing. It's literally, for example, I'm doing quite well in my Herbalife business at the moment. People are just like, why are you doing that? Isn't that a pyramid scheme? Or you're just doing it to earn money, you're not doing it to help people, or whatever, right? Yeah, I'll then go to a wedding where I'm not drinking, and they'll be like, why aren't you drinking? Like drinking is a good thing, and helping lots of people and building a successful business is a bad thing. I'm just like, this is ridiculous, and that's the life and the world we live in. And until you get to a point where you realise, right, for my life to change, I need to change, and if I want things to get better quick, I need to change myself, the people that I'm surrounding myself with. Because that's going to influence my mood, and your mood will influence your results. And that, like, mic drop completely. I'm going to stop the podcast in a minute because that's all you need to hear. And if you're listening to this as someone who's thinking, right, if I heard this when I was 20, or if I heard it and listened to it when I was 20, my life would be very different right now. Because the years and years of surrounding myself with the wrong people. Now, I don't have any regrets, and I love everyone in my life. But I have a level of understanding now of how much time I should be spending with certain people, and who's going to be good for me and the progress I want to make in whatever endeavour it might be at the time, versus not so good, right? And that's just the way of the world, and this is what you will learn from when you read books on self-development. They'll be like, right, we're not saying cut your family out, we're not saying cut your friends out, we're not saying cut. What we're saying is have self-awareness. Understand who's good for you in your time, and who's helping you move forward in your life, and who's holding you back, who's being a crab. Because sometimes, yeah, it might be that your families are crabs. They won't always be. They'll understand you as a person more the more you believe in yourself. And that's all you have to do. Like, for example, I'm going to mention my dad again. He doesn't understand any of this stuff. He's grown up in a generation where you get a job and you work all like 50 hours a week until you're 70. And then you get a pension that he's been paying into since he was 18 that isn't going to afford a lifestyle that he wants to live when he's past 70 anyway. He's just hoping his mortgage is paid off, so then it's a cheap lifestyle, and he'll be able to go on a holiday every now and then. But for him, that's great. He's happy with that. That's fine for him. And I'd have no reason to judge that. But I didn't want that. I wanted a different route. I didn't want to work until I was 70 in a job I didn't want to do like he does. And he's set an example to me, and I'm like, that's driven me. It's made me driven. It's made me think I don't want that for me, or for my kids, or for my missus, or whatever, my family, whatever it might be. And it's not because I don't respect him. Everything I've got is because of him and my parents and the morals they've taught me. And I have so much gratitude for that. But at the same time, and he'll listen to this and he'll think, no, I respect that. And the same as how he now understands that I'm wired differently. I'm not wired to go get into a job. I'm wired to build my own empire and try to do it my own way and make my own mistakes and have my own failures and take ownership for them and go again and build again and try again and try again. Because I'd rather do that until I'm 70, because that's what I'm going to enjoy, Whether the money comes or not, whether the fame, the success comes or not, whether the impact comes or not, that's what I'll enjoy versus doing something that would make me feel suffocated by being told what to do with my time. Like, I control my time, and that's how I like my life to be. And he now has got to the point where he gets that. It might have taken him a few years, but now he gets it, and he encourages it, and he's proud of me. Whereas at first, I was the barnacle going through uni. He's paying for me to go to uni. Like, he wasn't paying for my tuition, but for example, my fuel or whatever, or I'm like, Dad, my car insurance is up. He's like, and? I'm like, well, I've been working, but I've also been spending the money I've been working. Like, Tiger's been good the last few weekends, Dad. And he's just like, you are a pain in my ass. Transferring the money is like, you owe me. Like, I owe my dad loads for that, by the way, because it's a recurring debt payment, I think. Or it would be, I'm doing really well PTing, but I don't know where my money's going. And actually, to be honest, when you have your own business, money just comes and goes. Like, expenses, or websites, or whatever, rent to the gym, all these things. I was like, I'm earning quite good money. Where the bloody hell is it all going? And it wasn't until recently I started doing like spreadsheets to show my income and outgoings. I'm like, Jesus wept, look at where my money's going. And anyway, he's like, are you going to pay me rent? This is when I lived at home for a little bit. And I'm thinking, yeah, I don't know why I can't even afford to do that. And this is it. And this is probably why he was thinking he's a bloody barnacle. And he has every right to think that I was like that. And it wasn't until learning from every single one of these moments, and also not wanting to be the barnacle anymore. Like, I don't want to be the barnacle anymore. And I can proudly say that I'm not, hence why I'm probably in a position to be able to do a podcast on being more, because if I was still at a barnacle and still borrowing money from my dad every week, it probably wouldn't really be justified in being on the Be More podcast. But things change, and that's what I want you to realise. Like, not everything is stood still. Like, you don't have to be the way you always are. Just like the outside of my house right now looks different to how it looked when I first moved in, because it's changed. But people think, like, for example, the flower beds have all changed, they've moved it around a little bit, the sky looks a bit different today, the sun's like, do you know what I mean? The world looks different. But people think they have to be the same. From the minute they finish school, they're in their job now, right, that is me. I'm going to earn this much money, I'm going to speak to these people every day, I'm going to do this job every day, here's my responsibilities, here's what's going to happen, here's my bills, here's the lifestyle I'm going to live, and that can't change. You've got a very fixed mindset there, and that is how life is going to be, and that is simply not the case. The only way you're going to get any kind of income that's more than your job is if you win the lottery, or if you win an accumulator at the weekend. And that's it. And if you're lucky, you might come into a bit of money, and you might be able to invest in a property here or there, and then just hopefully that money will turn you into a rich person, or into someone who's a little bit better off, or whatever it might be. One property, or another one in 15 years if you can accumulate enough from that one. And I used to think, oh, is that it? Like, I want more. Like, not more money, but more impact, or more, maybe more money. Or I just want to have more of a excitement from life. I want to be able to wake up in the morning and be like, let's get after it. I used to watch all these videos on YouTube being like, you're only here once. What are you doing? Why are you not focused? And I'm like, I've got nothing to be focused about. But I wanted to get it, because I do believe we're only here once. I do believe life is short, and I'm seeing it in my own eyes. I'm seeing people around me, like, losing their loved ones, or my close friends and family are losing their loved ones, or my granddad's not very well, and I'm just like, life is short. But how do I speed up, or how do I change what I'm doing? And it isn't until you realise that the people you surround yourself with, the books you read, the thoughts that are going through your head, they're all dictated by yourself. And you dictate every single thing that happens in your life. So if you don't like where you are, or if you like where you are but you want more, go out and get more. There's only one person who's going to do that, and that's you. And the things you can do to change that, or to make that speed up that process, is by getting around people that know more than you. Then you learn from them, you bounce off them, and then you can bounce ideas off them, become more creative, become more driven, and see someone who's pushing for more. Be around people that push for more. They want more, they want more, they want more. It's not greed, that's just the growth. And people, as human beings, we crave growth. So get around them kinds of people, because there's people that have given up. And if you're surrounding yourself with the people that have given up, you're just going to be like them. And you're going to think it's okay to be like that. But it's not, and it's going to slow you down, it's going to stop you, and it's going to not make you happy. And you're going to wake up every day and think, oh, back to that place again. And that's not where you want to be. It might be. You might be someone who likes that repetition. And if you are, I'm not one to judge. Like, that's what you are, and that's self-awareness. Self-awareness is the most important thing. Like, I used to always hear Gary Vaynerchuk going about self-awareness. I was like, I don't really get it. Like, I'm self-aware. I like football. But then it's not until you realise that, no, there's an understanding of self-awareness that builds and builds and builds from learning every single day about yourself. And it's not until I started using these best self journals and writing things down every day and learning about who I am, how I best operate, what I most want to do, what makes me feel most purpose, what aligning my life in alignment with the purpose I've got to give me the best return, make me feel most fulfilled, like make me feel most happiest, when's a good time of day for me to go to the gym. So like, not just based on performance, but based on mindset. Like, honestly, if I've got to midday in my day, there's a good chance I won't train. I just won't. I'm a morning person. I'll go to the gym in the morning. But if I'm going with someone, I will go in the afternoon. So maybe I need to get a training partner in the afternoon for the days where I can't train in the morning. Do you know what I mean? It's just having that self-awareness and knowing what works for me. But in the afternoon, I'll go for a run. No problem. But training in the gym when it's lovely outside, not happening. Self-awareness. Or what to have to eat. Self-awareness. Knowing what to have, when to have it, what works for me, what doesn't work for me. And this builds and builds and builds. You don't need to know it all straight away, but you need to be conscious of what you're doing to learn it. So like, I've got a to-do list today. I know right now, each task, when will work for me to do that task. Like, I read a book called The One Thing. I massively recommend it. And it just says focus on one thing. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Now, how to make sure that one thing is done perfectly well is by knowing yourself and knowing when in your day that is best to do it. Some people are best doing the little things first, ticking them off, build momentum. Others are getting the biggest, baddest, most impactful things done first, because that's when they're got their most like willpower, energy, creativity. Do them first, and the little things that aren't so important, do them later when you aren't so energized, right? And that's how I work best. So mornings for me, like this podcast now, I'm buzzing, I'm full of energy, right? It's because it's 5 a.m. and I'm a morning person. If you get me on this at 9 p.m, I'm not going to be nowhere near as enthusiastic. Not because I'm not enthusiastic about life, but because I'm a morning person. I'm just self-aware and know that. So I'm like, right, podcast booked in 5 till 6, let's go hammer it. Whereas if I booked it in 7 to 8 tonight, I probably would have struggled to be as enthusiastic as I am. Unless I've smashed in a load of caffeine before, I'm just a better morning person. And then if I'd done that, I wouldn't have slept very well tonight. Self-awareness, so key. I've ranted on for half an hour now. I'm going to let you get on and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed the podcast, guys and girls. Hopefully you are finding or getting some value from them. And I'd love to know your feedback. Hear your feedback. If you are, then get in touch. Leave a comment, whether you're listening on YouTube or SoundCloud, iTunes. Make sure you leave a review, and make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully, if you are enjoying the podcast, pass it on to someone else. And hopefully we can get more people in this kind of mindset of being more, and we can help change and make a really big positive impact on everyone that we can obviously influence. And not everyone can be helped, but if you've got a mindset that you can, then you can go through a similar, like any kind of growth, whether it be in anything you are doing. And I'm still working on myself every single day, and that's all you need to do. And it hasn't got to be big or small. It hasn't got to be anything. It's subjective, and it's your own life. It's your own decisions. And hopefully the things that I've shared in this podcast can give you some good little tips to go and change the direction of where you're going, because it only has to be a slight change in direction, and it can make all the difference. So yeah, have a great weekend, guys and girls. Thanks once again for your time, and I will see you in the next episode.